It's Transforce96 here with another video review. This time we have the Marvel Legends from the Warlock Build-A-Figure series, Cyclops. So let's go to the packaging. Cyclops is arguably, I believe, the most anticipated and rare figure of this wave. Was lucky enough to find it. You know, what's funny is I found him, and at the store that I found him at, they had Cyclops and they had Logan. They didn't have anybody else. None of the other more common figures or anything. It was very funny, but I was very much lucky to find him. So at the moment, I have Cyclops. I have them all except for the first two, Shatterstar and Cyclops. Or sorry, Shatterstar and Colossus. Very much looking forward to this Build-A-Figure. It looks very unique. But I do love the figure packaging and the artwork on the side. I love the fact that they're using artwork on the side for all of the figures. It just looks so good. Alright, on to the actual figure here. So, I was very excited to get this one. Cyclops is obviously a huge X-Men character, and this is what I would definitely consider, and most people would consider, his most iconic look. You know, the Jim Lee style costume, which obviously most of the Jim Lee costume designs are the ones that are the most iconic for many people, especially since they were in the 90s when the X-Men were really big. So I absolutely love this costume design, so it is great to get a really proper figure of it. How is the figure, though? The figure is annoying. I must say, it's a very annoying figure, and I'll get into why in a second here. But first of all, its base figure its base body is basically a Bucky capper. It's a standard Marvel Legends mold. There's nothing unique to it. You know, it might not be Bucky cap, but whatever. We've seen this this body sculpt before. It's very plain. You know, it's a nice, you know, muscular but not too muscular male body sculpt. So it works nicely. It's just it's not unique. So if you're bored of that body sculpt, this isn't going to do much for you. However, it still fits the character very nicely. So it definitely works nicely. I think that it you know, was a solid choice. As far as the paint goes, it uses a very dark, deep blue. There's no highlighting in it, which would have been nice. However, I think that the dark, rich blue really looks good, and it definitely represents the drawings of him in the comics. So I don't mind the fact that there's not much shading. There's actually no shading. Even though I usually like that, it really isn't a big deal for this one, just because this is a really true to form look at how he looked in the comics. Then the yellow that he uses is quite good. I like this really bright yellow. What I don't like is that this strap uses a different shade. It's like yellow, but it has some orange wash into it, which I'm not a fan of. I don't think it looks good. I think it looks strange. Really wish that this was the same shade as the rest of him. You do have some X logos there. This one is outlined in gold, which does look nice. And then the head sculpt, I like the head sculpt a lot. I think that the facial expression is very nice. It's very stoic, which usually I prefer expression. However, I think that fits Cyclops' character more. You have the visors there, which look awesome, and then the hair. I like the sculpt of the hair, the way that it's kind of falling forward on one side. I think that looks very cool. And then the hair itself is brown with black highlights in it, which looks excellent. Really a big fan of that. And then I do like the fact that he has one fist and then one hand that's obviously meant for pressing, you know, like the button on his lenses there to fire the optic blast. I think that's very cool. You know, I would have been pissed if they didn't add that. So that is nice. Now, what don't I like about this figure? Because I've gone through the stuff that I like. What I don't like are the straps. First of all, I think the straps are horrid. This one is awful because it came in package. It was just out of this thing. It wasn't even plugged in. I feel like it would be quite a struggle to actually get it pegged in. I probably could do it, but I haven't, because I'm sure once I do it, that would completely hinder the swivel at the waist. I think that if you have that connected, there's no way you're going to be able to swivel this waist and this thing won't just pop back out. So that is very annoying. Wish that they designed this larger so that it would be able to hold on better and still allow you to do the swivel there, or at least have it where it could sit under the swivel, but it really can't. It's really kind of stuck in this position. Wish that it had a bit more room there. That would have kind of fixed that problem. Then the other thing is, all of these straps are not glued on. There's not a single strap that's glued on. These aren't glued on, but they're not a big deal because where are they going to go? But these are not glued on, and whenever you move this guy, these things just fall way down. As you can see, they just fall right down to the ankle. You can just slide them off if you wanted to. It's super annoying. I don't know why they couldn't have just glued these things, and I'm not even quite sure where the buckles are supposed to be pointed. They're like supposed to be to the side. I think that they are, but it's very hard to tell. It's really annoying if you just, you know, have them like this where you're not moving them much, it doesn't matter. But once you start trying to put them in a pose, those things keep falling. You have to keep putting them back up, and it's an awful system. I really wish they glued them. I'm considering gluing them myself, and I really don't like, you know, customizing figures, because then they're not in, you know, the factory made condition. So I don't like to do that. However, I'm very much considering just gluing them because they're such a pain. So I absolutely hate the way that they did these, and it would have been such an easy fix to not do that. As well as the figure, the character himself is very unique and very cool. I love his power as far as the optic blast, but you can't represent that in the figure. You've got the way to put his hand on his eyes, but there's obviously nothing happening. He has a very stoic look. What would have been really nice is that they included an optic blast attachment. I think that would have been nice, or better yet, they included a completely new head sculpt that had him like yelling some expression, and then had the optic blast just physically attached to the visor. I think that would have been great. That would have made for some incredible poses, and would have allowed you to show his power. I can't stand when figures come out that, you know, the character has a power, but it's not represented in the figure. It's like, well, what's the point then? You know, group shots are the only thing that this figure's worth now, because if you can't show the power, you know, you can't pose him with the power or anything. He just becomes a guy. You know, it's just a look that you're buying rather than the character. So I'm really disappointed in the fact that they didn't glue the straps, and there's no way to represent his power. However, he looks amazing. I mean, he looks awesome on your shelf, and he's going to look great with your X-Men collection. However, this could have been easily the best figure of the wave. It could have been spectacular, and it turned out to be... Sorry about that, my camera ran out of space. Like I was saying, this could have easily been the best figure of the wave. However, it turned out to be one of the weakest. From the ones that I have so far, it is definitely the most annoying of them, that's for sure. So, really, this could have been an awesome figure. Unfortunately, not executed perfectly. And, you know, there's a lot that could have been hoped for with this figure that unfortunately they didn't deliver on. Going over his articulation, it's standard Marvel Legends articulation, which is quite good. He obviously looks down very far, and he looks up very far. You've got the full swivel, ball hinge shoulders, bicep swivel, double hinge elbows, hinge swivel wrist. The hinge works really nicely too. You've got an ab crunch, which can go forward this much, and can go back about that much, which is pretty decent. Swivel at the waist, as long as this thing isn't attached. Ball jointed thighs, which go up, you know, solid amount, and go to the side a bit. It would have been nice if they went a bit further, but that's still quite good. You've got swivel at the thighs, double hinge knees, swivel at the calf area, and then there's a hinge, which can go forward quite a bit, can go out completely, and then also has the pivot, of course. So his articulation is excellent. He's a really nice figure, but sorely lacking some accessories as well as glue. Accessories and glue would have made this guy awesome. What they should have done was they should have given him the extra laser blast effect, and you know, it made like a nice big accessory, and didn't give him the Build-A-Figure piece, and then gave Logan the Build-A-Figure piece. That would have made this figure pretty perfect. That would have, you know, made the wave really solid. Or maybe just given him the buzzsaw that comes with Colossus, and just give Colossus the head sculpt. That would have been a great way to do it as well. But unfortunately, they didn't. Again, I'm disappointed by this based on the figure itself. However, the character looks great, and you know, he looks awesome with your other figures. So there you go. That's my video review of the Marvel Legends from the Warlock Build-A-Figure series, Cyclops. Let me know what you guys think of this, and thanks so much for watching.